Yo, what's good, people? Welcome to the channel where we talk about music licensing, music business, and music production. If you love any of the previously mentioned, be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. We're back for another live Q&A on YouTube. I'm always about to say Ustream for whatever reason. I haven't been on Ustream in literally like a long time. Seriously, what's up, A-Ye or A-I? My bad if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but shout out to everybody in the stream, man. Let me know where you guys are from and what you do and what questions you have. We in here. We locked in for like the next hour or so. Shout out to my guy, Josh, Off Key Productions. What's good, bro? Hope all is well. Marlon, what's up, man? How you feeling? Good vibes from my guy. Dope. Yo, it's hump day. Like, we halfway through the week. I'm excited. Georgia producer, composer. That's what's up. Dope. I've been all over the place this week. Different briefs. Business stuff, getting organized. All of that stuff. But it's all dope stuff. What's up, Herbie? Herbie Brown. Always coming through, man. I appreciate you, bro. Evan, ATL, and artist. What's good, bro? What's up, Shar Moore? Welcome back. Relay Concepts, good to see you again. Super dope. So yeah, man, what questions do we have this week? What are we talking about? I know I was on Instagram Live the other day. We was just talking about a bunch of different streams of income for producers, so that was a dope chat. If you guys haven't seen that, just head over to my Instagram. Not now, but whenever you get a chance. And check it out, because it was some gems dropped in that joint. Sharon, what's good, man? Pedro, what's good? Good to see you again. What else has happened? What else has happened this week? Nothing crazy. It's been a pretty stable week. Some weeks I have like super random things. But you know, not too crazy. First question goes to Off Key Productions today. Do you do collars with the community that you shop around for sync? Oh, collabs. I'm guessing you mean collabs. Occasionally I do. Usually I'll post it or I'll share it to my email list if that opportunity comes up. In fact, this past week I just had an opportunity come across a table for black. They were looking specifically for black female producers and composers to work on a TV show. So I sent that out. Submissions are closed now, but got a lot of dope submissions. Got a lot of random, like super random submissions. So like, listen, man, I don't understand. Like, so this is what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about following instructions. Like, just following instructions. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, people think instructions are like these things that people just take the time to come up with, and they're just supposed to not be followed. And it's just like, if you don't follow them, it's like some, I don't know, like it's like some sign that you're going all in or you're super serious, and it's not. Like, it had, and I'm so passionate about this because it's like a lot of people don't know, a lot of people don't understand, and this is why a lot of people miss out, man. Like, if it's not secret code for do the exact opposite so I can see how serious you are. Instructions are, I want you to do this exactly how it's laid out because this is what they want specifically. Like, when a music supervisor sends out a brief, they want exactly what they send out. If you don't give them that, they will write you off. They won't work with you because you can't follow instructions. You're not giving them what they asked for. And it's so easy to just be blacklisted. Like, they're just like, nope, like, been through that, not going through it. They don't have time. So I be trying to give y'all a game, man. Like, I be trying to give y'all a game on these lives so y'all don't make these mistakes. But when there's instructions involved, whether it's a brief, whether it's a submission protocol, whether it's uploading or sending deliverables, like read it over and over and over again and make sure you do exactly what they ask you to do. Like it makes your life, you don't even have to think. Like it makes your life easier if you just follow the instructions. What Off Key says, what are instructions? Is that an app? That's hilarious, bro. My agents will not submit auditions if they are labeled wrong. Prime example. Those random are guys. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So all right. So back to the instructions thing, man. So, you know, I put out the brief, and there was just so many people. Like the majority, well, I won't say majority, because the majority of people follow instructions, right? But there's always like a bundle who just don't. Like they just don't. And I specifically said, forgot. Shout out to my fellas who like forwarded to female producers. That was super dope. I appreciate that. But the guys who like submitted anyway, like after I explicitly, just very specifically asked you not to submit so we can leave this opportunity open for the ladies, they still submit. Why I'm not gonna send your music. Like you just messed it up for yourself. Like don't do that. Just follow instructions. Because this is what happens. Somebody sees you can't follow simple instructions, you're not going to be able to follow a brief, because the brief gets even more detailed. Like I've seen some briefs where it's like a whole page long of like, this is what we want, and they want it because that's what they need. Like this is basic stuff, people. Like if you can't get that, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle in business. You're going to struggle in life. You're going to struggle like all across the board. You're going to struggle in marriage. Like if you can't follow instructions from the wife, listen, you're just making it hard on yourself. So just make it easier. Follow instructions, read them however many times you need to. Follow the instructions. Some people submit, some people submitted and they were everything but what I asked for. I don't understand. I just do not understand it. You know, I understand a lot of people want an opportunity. I get that. But you still lose in the end. You don't get the opportunity because you know what I'm saying? Like you just don't. You know, you have to wait until the opportunity that fits you is presented, and then you go all in. But you go all in within the guidelines of what's being asked. I'm telling you, like it'll help your career. It'll help your life if you learn how to follow instructions. So shout out to everybody who followed instructions, which was most people. And then some people, most of the people on my stream knows I use Disco for the upload. Some people just email me an attachment on email. I don't know how many posts on Instagram. I know I talk about it. I know my guy 85 Productions talks about it. I know numerous music supervisors talk about it. I know the producer Whisper talks about it. Everybody talks about this. I just had Morgan McKnight from the Production Music Association talk about it, and it's just not sending email attachments. So I don't get it, man. I don't know why people just can't follow instructions. So that was my rant for the day. Let's answer some questions now. Betsy says you can screw your reputation if you don't or can't follow instructions. It's so true, man. Yeah, man. Some you know, and I mean, I get that question, November James. Like I understood where he was coming from, just out of curiosity. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind that. You know, especially you know how it was asked. I don't mind that. You know what I'm saying? Especially from somebody that that I engage with frequently. That's a little bit different. But then I had some people email me and it was just like, what about the guys? It's just like, what? that's not what they want. They don't want guys, right? They don't want guys today. It's like there's always opportunities. There's opportunities right now that you can go out and find, but it's just like this specific opportunity is for ladies only. The end. That's it. It's not, nobody's trying to like keep you out. It's just, that's not what this is. And then it was crazy. I got some very interesting submissions. It was very, very interesting. I got one submission. It was a JPEG file it was a JPEG file. It was just a random picture. Like, it wasn't even an MP3. It was just a random, I don't get it. I don't know. Humans are weird sometimes, but it's all good. Shar says, I second guessed myself out of it, so I didn't send anything. I'm working to be prepared next time. Hey, I get it. It happens, but this is what I'll say in regards to second guessing yourself. Try not to. Just send it off, and then don't think too hard about it, because you will talk yourself out of a submission. I've done it before. You'll talk yourself out of an opportunity. Sometimes you're in your own head and you're thinking, I don't think it's a work, blah, blah, but you never know, you know what I mean? And then the person that's listening, they may actually love it, and boom, like, you're good. So if you can, like, just try and submit something, you know what I mean? Because you never know, like, you just never know until you put it out there. So definitely shoot your shot. I agree with that, off key. Indeed. April Bynum, what's good? Good to see you, April. Man, like, yo, like, a lot of beats that I didn't feel personally was just like my best work. Or I felt like, this mix was a little iffy. Man, that'd be the stuff that gets used over and over again. And I'm just confused as to why, but just how it works sometimes. But yeah, definitely do it, Shar. Just get in the habit of just putting it out there, see what happens. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. What's up, Wayne Parker? Good to see you, bro. Let's see. All right, y'all. What questions we got? November James says, I just got a $2 credit from Disco through Clint. Thanks, bro. Dope. I appreciate you, man, using the link to sign up. Man, I love Disco, bro. Like, it just makes life easier. Like, putting playlists together. And this isn't sponsored by Disco, but it's just, I love it. I love it. It's been a real dope experience. And just a dope way to accept music and organize music and send music. And then I know the music supervisors are loving it too, because it makes their life easier. When they're getting music, or they're getting a playlist, they can stream it right there. It has all the metadata right there. Excuse me. It if they want to download the files, it's right there. And then the dope thing is, like, if they download the files and say they pull a track into iTunes, it'll import like that metadata with the track into iTunes, so it's like they can see all the composer info and all that stuff. So it's super dope. What's up, Michael? I was in contact with a TV film placement, and they were telling me that music for TV and film is 95% building a relationship and 5% the actual music. What's your thoughts? Let me take a sip of water before I answer this. That's a huge percentage. I mean, I'll definitely say, because like, I don't want people to get discouraged and feel like, shout out to ESPN. I don't want people to get discouraged and feel like because they don't have relationships, you can't get TV placements. And it's honestly the exact opposite. But there is there is like a high level of importance in regards to relationships. That's why if you're just getting started, you have to partner up with music libraries, music licensing companies, and publishers who have relationships so that you can get your music placed. Because if you don't have the relationship at a TV production company, with a music soup or whoever else is making these decisions on placing music, then you don't get placements. So I see 100% where they're coming from when they say, 95% relationship, 5% music. Music at the end of the day that's the easy part. You know what I mean? Like, that's easy. Everybody can make music. Yeah, just producers all over the world's music just sitting on the computer, but most of it isn't working because they don't have the relationships to put it in TV and film. So you definitely gotta, if you're not working to find those relationships yourself, then you definitely have to partner up and take advantage of someone else's relationships while you supply the music. And I think music libraries is a great way to do that. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Michael. Very interesting point. November James says, disco is so easy. I see why it's becoming standard for music supervisors. Facts. And then they can import like the whole playlist right into their own disco. Super fire. I do it for TV. That's quite appropriate for this stream. How do you feel about Taxi? Is that useful to placing music? Is it worth purchasing? Yo, everybody asked me about Taxi. I got a video on it on this channel. If you want to check it out, it was a while back, but just search like Taxi and ClintMusic or something like that. It should pop up. So the short answer is it depends. It's different for everybody. I don't have anything against them. I was with them like way back in the day when my music was trash and the mix was horrible and the genres just wasn't what was being looked for and stuff like that. So I didn't get a placement personally from it. I got a couple forwards and I got a lot of value from the road rally. But you know what I'm saying? Somebody else may have a totally different story. If I was starting, I don't know, man. I can't even say that because there's some things I wouldn't have learned. There's some people I wouldn't have connected with if I wouldn't have went to the road rally, if I wouldn't have signed up with Taxi. So I think that played a role in where I am now. But there's other ways, through music libraries. You can just go straight to the music library because you're gonna have to first, whoever's listening to your music at Taxi, they're gonna have to be like, oh yeah, this is great, and then forward it to the library. I'd rather just go to the library, just ask them like, yo, do you like it? And then if yes, cool. No, then I just go to the next library. Because a lot of like sometimes it's perception too. Like whoever's listening at Taxi may be like, it's okay. I don't think it's worth forwarding, but the library that they're actually listening for may actually like it. It may actually be exactly what they want. So, I try and get as direct as I can. No doubt, Michael. Chris Thomason, what's good? Yo, Clint, if I put my tracks on Spotify, not signed to pub or label, should that have any effect on my opportunities to get a placement or submissions to publishers? No, it shouldn't. Of course, it's going to depend on what your agreement is with the publisher. So I will always ask whichever publisher is gonna whichever publisher is gonna represent that track. I would just ask them, let them know, give them a heads up, like, yo, I released this. It's on Spotify. Is that an issue? They'll let you know. But on the flip side, it could also be a win-win, because if your music is out there, then it starts getting used and somebody looks it up, Shazams it, whatever. You get a big placement, feature placement. You know, it's online. You're easier to find. So I don't think it can hurt. The only way it can really hurt is like, you know, if it's in the contract to where they're like, you know, you can't do this. You also can see when it's accessed by music supervisors too. Yeah. That takes a little of the I think that takes a little of the waiting and the anxiety away, because you're just like, okay, they heard it. I don't know what they think yet, but at least you know they got it and they heard it. I had a whole man, I sent like 10 ambient tracks to a music soup one time. And yeah, there was no way for me to really see if they heard it or if they got it. And you know, when following up, like I always share with you guys, like if you follow up with new music. So I followed up with like at least another pack after that, and then just never heard anything back. So I stumbled across those tracks again. I was just like, I'm sending them to somebody else because you sleeping. So yeah, that's a pretty dope feature. Betsy says, I heard Taxi only has a 6% success rate. I think Taxi is great for the road rally and to get ideas, but you can get good tips for free from Taxi TV without investing the money to join the company. Indeed. Yeah, like there's so much more information out, and this isn't a knock against Taxi. I've met the owner, super dope dude. And I think it's a great company. It is a legit company. Like for anybody who's asking to know whether or not Taxi is legit, like they're legit. They wouldn't have been around for this long if they weren't. But I think today, like in 2021, with all the information out there, it's just not what is it, like $200 or something? I forget. And if you're not going to the road rally, I definitely wouldn't pay that. If you just paying it just to submit, like I don't see the value in it, you know. But yeah, Sound in the City, what's good? For the new people coming in, man, let me know where you guys are from. We're doing a live Q&A, so I'm just sitting here chilling for the next about 30-40 minutes or so, just answering questions, hanging out with y'all, helping y'all get unstuck. C Keys, is metadata critical to one's advantage? Woo! Yes. Yo, like, and this is what's gonna separate the average from the elite, right? Is the ability to sit down and do metadata. It is the most boring, tedious, just annoying thing to do. Nobody likes it. You can ask anybody. Like, no, I know not one composer who's just gonna be like, oh man, I thoroughly enjoy doing metadata and describing the mood of my track and filling out all types of information that is absolutely critical to, you know, somebody finding my music in a library with thousands of tracks. Like, nobody's gonna tell you that, because it sucks, to be honest with you. That's the reality of it, but it's so critical, it's so necessary. You know, especially if you're uploading your music like on stock music sites online, or, you know, a library where you can just kind of upload freely. That's how people are gonna find your music, you know. And a lot of times they're typing in keywords like, you know, the kind of vibe that they're looking for, like sad, moody track, you know, happy party song, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like certain keywords and moods and descriptions that they're searching for, and that's how your music gets found in a lot of these catalogs, right? And then you have some companies where they're not, some of them may do most of that for you. Some of them may have like a sheet for you to fill out and then upload. Some of them you can do it right on the site. And then depending on who you come across, you know, some people just, I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like I've worked with a publisher. No, I still did it. Like he didn't specifically ask for it, but I did it just to kind of go that extra mile. And I'm glad I did, because the music ended up getting placed on, you know, on some award shows and some other stuff, Flex and Chinese and some other stuff. But yeah, it's don't take that part like it's easy to like brush it off and like not do it because you just like, this is doing too much. But it's important. Definitely don't slack on that. Especially like your main stuff, like your BPM, obviously your composer information, your keywords and descriptions. You know, some companies may want you to describe, you know, similar artists that it sounds like, you know, similar famous artists. So that helps a lot because, you know, sometimes they may have a track of a major artist like as like a placeholder. And then what they'll do is, you know, they'll go out and start searching for things to replace that. So they may type in, you know, something that sounds like a Cardi B or something like that. So, yeah. Good question. No doubt. Let's see what else we got. Shout out to Sound in the City from San Diego. Chris Porter says he loves doing metadata. You are the first. I feel like that was sarcastic, but if it's not, bro, I'll send you all my metadata to do because I hate it. Well, I don't do it. I don't do it anymore. My assistant does it, but man, that is goodness. When you complete a song for licensing, do you do alt mixes and cut downs immediately or wait till the library asks? Another good question. It depends. If it's someone that I've been working with for a while, so let's go with BMG Production Music, for example. Did an album with them not too long ago, or a few tracks for an album, and their process is usually I create the music, bounce out an MP3, and then I'll send my contact, you know, the MP3 to make sure, you know, does this work? Once I get the green light, she pretty much tells me, yeah, go ahead, send the stems. Now, from our, you know, when we first started working together some years ago, she already told me like how they like files, right? And the certain track outs that they like, or the stems or mixes and stuff that they like. So I just made note of that, put it in, you know, my little note app or whatever. So now I know like this is how they like files. And then once I get the green light, then I'll go in and bounce out all the files. Some companies, it's kind of the same thing. Like I know what they want, so then I'll just go in and bounce them all out. Especially since I got, you know, I have the DAW open anyway. And then, you know, just send them, you know, immediately. So it's a combination of both. Some of them I just do it right away. Others I wait until I know that they're gonna actually use it. Because if they don't, then I'm wasting time, you know, bouncing out a bunch of stems, and it may go to another company who wants stems completely different. So we all about not wasting time over here. Good question, Russ. Appreciate you coming through, man. The beat technician tuning in from ATL. That's what's up. Wayne Parker actually loved doing. Listen, y'all proved me wrong, man. Y'all the first literally 2 people that that I know love it, man. Shout out to y'all. Like I would, speaking of streams of income for producers, like I would monetize that and like turn it into a service, and charge other producers in sync to do their metadata, because a lot of us don't like it. And that's like a legit idea. It's a great idea, actually. D Ready, any suggestions on preparation for sending out tracks to music supervisors? Should I have a Dropbox or SoundCloud link set up to send, and what's a good number of tracks to have? within those links. Taxi is 300. Wow, I think they went up. So if I'm just starting out, I would use box.com. Box.com is dope because number one is free. Shout out to free stuff, especially free food specifically. That's always dope as long as it's good, depending on who cooked it. But box.com is dope because if you send them a link, like say you create a folder, right? Hip hop tension cues. You create a folder, you send them a link to that folder. If they open up on their phone, their computer, they can just hit play of the audio file, and then they can stream it right there, and it doesn't take, a crazy long time to buffer. It's not a hassle. You don't have to log in or anything. And then it also gives them the option to download it if they want to download, as long as you have that option enabled. So that's what I would start out with is box.com. SoundCloud, only if the company asks for a SoundCloud link. Like some companies would be like, SoundCloud is fine. I personally don't like it. I found it to be a hassle sometimes, but I prefer Box. I prefer disco.ac, but that's, it comes with a like a monthly fee. But if you're just starting out, you don't want to, start paying subscription fees for certain services. Just box.com is fine. It's free. And then as far as the number of tracks, I start with like 5 tracks, again, unless they ask for something different. And this goes back to following instructions. If a company says send us 3 demos, or not demos, but like 3 tracks so we can, hear what you can do, just send them 3 tracks. Don't it's not a secret code for like send 12 tracks. Like send 3 tracks. If they say send 3 tracks, just send 3. If they don't say anything as far as numbers, 3 to 5 gets the job done. Like you can tell if somebody knows what they're doing, with a few tracks easily. So yeah, hopefully that helps. The beat technician says, any suggestions on where to store finished catalogs of music? Beat stores, own website, Disco, SoundCloud. So many options. I'm kind of chasing my tail. Man, so me personally, man, like I like to have a hard copy. So I did a post on Instagram where I was talking about how I back up my music. So all my stuff is like on a backup drive. The stuff that's finished, mostly in session form, and then all the stems are in the session. But yeah, like I would get like a massive external storage thing. I use like this I use the MyCloud, what is it, like a PRS 2100 something, I don't know what it is, but off the top of my head, but I use that, and I think it's like 8 terabytes. But the dope thing about it is you can swap out the drives and put bigger hard drives in there. But both drives have to be like the same size, depending on how you set it up. But the way I have mine set up is it's a RAID 1, so it copies everything that's on one drive onto the other drive. So if one of the drives failed, there's another copy of the same thing. So the drives have to be the same size so it could, so it can make a copy. But yeah, that's what I recommend. And then if you want to do, maybe do a cloud backup too, and throw it on, I don't know, a box.com. Like the more, depending on how big your files is, that can add up, and it can start getting costly. But I think the only other option after that is like building your own server, getting a server with a bunch of hard drives. But that's a whole nother thing. New Orleans, what's up, Deuce Black? Is arcade and Splice okay to use for TV and film? So this is one of those. No, like short answer. It gets complicated. If you want to have the least amount of headaches. Splice specifically, like, I just stay away from it, and like, unless you take that joint and chop that joint up until it's unrecognizable, because it can create headaches. We talked about that in depth on an interview I did with Morgan McKnight as well. We were kind of talking about that. That's on the YouTube channel too, if you want to search that. November James, are your ambient tracks or underscores structured? Are they longer loops than a trap instrumental cue? That's a good question. So my minimal ambient tracks, they're not really structured, bro. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. So I've gotten quite a few placements on Catfish on MTV, right? And you know the kind of music that's on Catfish. So, some of those tracks, man, I would find a dope sound in Omnisphere 2. I just hold the note. It's just hold the note. And then I just drag that joint out for a minute and a half, bro. That's it. It's done. No structure. There's nothing else. There's nothing to the track. When they asked me for stems, I was like, it was one sound. Like that's the stem. That's it. But yeah, like there's, unless they want it to where it's like gradually building, still it's just building. There's no like first verse hook, second verse hook. It's more so just kind of free form. The main thing I'm trying to do is just hit their length requirements. And then I'll put, maybe put a nice little, like a soft hit kind of sting ending gish on the end. So it's not like, it doesn't hit as hard as like my trap instrumental cues or something like that. But it's still like a solid ending to the track. But yeah, bro, like a lot of those tracks, man, this sound is great. One noted, send it off. I love when those briefs come in. It's easy money. What up, Creative? Creative hates metadata. I'm with you, man. A track without metadata is not even a track in sync. Shout out to November Jam. You should put that on a t-shirt, bro. Chris Porter says, nope, I love data science and stuff like that. We need to build an app where we can systemize all the metadata for your library, hopefully connected to APIs for easy data entry. Yo, like, I swear, like, most producers are some way involved in like IT and like technical stuff. It's so interesting to me. But that would be dope. I'm sure with AI that, like, I know they have some stuff that's out there that'll like listen to the track and then, using AI spit out some keywords of what describes this track and the BPM and all that stuff. I'm sure something like that exists, but that would be fire. Great minds discuss ideas. I love it. Wayne Parker, hey Clint, with your experience and success with Sync, what lessons did you learn from your biggest win, and what lessons did you learn from an opportunity where you completely dropped the ball? Man, let's see. I would say an opportunity that led to producing music for like 3 seasons of an Emmy award-winning show, Born This Way, on A&E, and being able to work closely with like the head composer for those seasons. So that was a huge win. And this is what I learned from it, man. Like, you don't know where these opportunities or when these opportunities will come. And it's like there's no way to prepare for it unless you stay prepared, right? So like, and a lot of people, like, some people, I feel like some people think you can like, you'll be able to like see an opportunity coming and then just like hurry up, get ready for it before, like, I don't get it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people will be like, okay, when the opportunity comes, then I'll get ready. But you don't know, like, the opportunity, like, somebody can call you right now, like, are you ready? You know what I mean? So and everything starts small, man. So like, this particular relationship has developed over years, and it took, man, it was probably like a few years before he even brought that to my attention. But the only reason he hit me up to be able to do it, because he didn't reach out to everybody, it was like a small team of composers to help him, was because I was consistently submitting to the briefs that he would send out over the years. And then I was consistently delivering on those briefs and following instructions, like what we were talking about earlier. So like, when you follow instructions and you make that person's job like 1,000 times easier. So I did that for like every brief, you know what I mean? No matter how small or, you know, how big, like, I'll submit what I can. And I kept my word. So like, if I told him, you know, I'll submit something for this, I always came through. So he already knew, like, if I said I'm gonna do it, like, it's gonna get done. And if I can't, I'm gonna let you know, you know what I mean? So I always came through. I never flaked out. And when you're dealing with projects like this with like tight timelines, and, you know, like, these were huge producers of this show. So it's like, they gave him a shot. And if I don't deliver, if the other composers don't deliver, it's not us that's gonna look bad to those producers. It's gonna be him. That's like his reputation on the line. So it's like, you know, you have to be a person of your word. You have to be consistent. You have to follow instructions, and then that will lead you to bigger opportunities and more work. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a huge lesson. It's just like, yo, start small, focus on what you have, the opportunities that you do have, and like, crush those joints. And then you never know, like, who's paying attention to like the little things, like the consistent things, the everyday things, like the I'll do what I say things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff that matters at the end of the day. Music was cool, like, of course, but, you know, even like, I've seen situations where producers, where like the quality wasn't like at the highest level, but because of their character and their consistency, they got an opportunity. So that's at least like 3 to 4 lessons in one situation. But trying to think of an opportunity where I dropped the ball. I don't have a lot of those. Like, nah, man, like, I don't have those. Like, I don't believe in dropping the ball. Like, if I feel like I'm not gonna deliver, I'm not gonna commit to it. So that it's just that, like, I'm not gonna do something I know I can't do. Like, I'll refer you to somebody else who I think is, you know, who's better at something, you know, whether it's a topic, a style, a genre, singing, a rap, like, whatever. But I don't know. Like, I try not to put myself in that situation to drop. Like, I can't drop the ball. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. Sound Legacy with another dope question. How do you get over thoughts of being rejected when submitting to libraries? I feel like I keep psyching myself out whenever I get ready to submit. Somebody else was just talking about that. Don't psych yourself out, man. Just submit it. As far as like being rejected, who cares? Like, if they say no, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they say no, like, what's the worst that can happen if someone says no to your music? You're still in the, nothing changes in as far as your situation, right? So if you're at 0 placements right now, you're trying to get your first placement, you're at 0 placements. If they say no, you're already at 0. Like you can't go lower than 0. You can't go -1 placements, right? So don't be scared of that, man. Like, put it out there. The worst they can say is no. No doesn't mean anything. It means next opportunity. Just keep moving on. Don't let that discourage you. Don't let it stop you. Don't fall victim of analysis paralysis. Best case scenario, they say yes. Boom, you move forward. Now you got another opportunity. Or if they say, sometimes they'll say no, and then they'll give you feedback. Then what you do, you take that feedback and then you adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like, take the feedback. Somebody posted in my Discord, what was it? They had submitted to a library. The library said no, but it was like some other stuff after it. So what she did, shout out to Kim, what she did was she went back and made those adjustments based on the feedback that she got. So then she resubmitted and then got a yes. So now she just got accepted into like her first music library. And that's what you have to do. Like, you know, no isn't always nah, like just stop, quit, don't submit ever again. A lot of times they'll keep that door open. They'll just give you some feedback that can help you. But you won't get that feedback unless you submit. So you just have to put yourself out there. What's up, Rose City Writer? Speaking of track bouncing, what sample rate do they normally want? It varies. It varies for everybody. Nas is our friend. That's a fact. And Raid is as well. Shout out to Raid. I back up on Dropbox and it works well. Dope. Man, I don't think you have too many backups for real. No doubt, D Ready. What about Garageband loops? The same? Yeah, like it's kind of the same thing, right? So it's like it's the same thing, especially because it's popular. A lot of people use them. I've used Garageband loops. I got some placements like right now, like on House Hunters, that I use some loops because I can't play like Italian instruments. It was a random request for like Italian hip hop. Apparently I'm not. Obviously I'm not Italian, right? So yeah, so I used an Italian loop, but so the thing it's not necessarily always a legal issue. Like, can you use a GarageBand loop legally and pitch it for TV and film? Yes, legally you can do it. The problem comes when you have a bunch of other producers using the same loop. There's two problems. So the first one is when you have a bunch of producers using the same loop, and then it can cause confusion on like who's the original creator, like where this come from, blah blah blah. That can like stop everything as far as like clearance and royalties, and right, like it can just stop everything, put everything on hold. That can be a very frustrating process for the people who are, you know, working on clearing this music. The second thing is deliverables. Like when you're sending deliverables, and I actually got insight on this from the Production Music Association. Shout out to the PMA. I'm a member there. If you haven't heard of PMA, just search Google PMA Music, Production Music Association. Super dope organization. But we had a session, and they talked about the fact that sometimes when you're sending deliverables, right, and a company asks you for stems, and you have to send individual stems, and now you're sending that individual loop, which in some agreements, as far as the, you know, end user license agreements, you can't necessarily do that. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're sending off that loop as a standalone and you're calling it your own. So what happens if the music supervisor decides, oh, I just want to use just this part of their track outs, just this loop by itself? So now you're like, they're using this loop, it's in their thing, and then, you know, you're getting paid for it. That's pretty much reselling the loop, which is illegal. Depending on what that agreement says. Like if it's from Splice, like you can't resell the loop as is that you get it from Splice. That's like, it's just theft in the simplest form. So that's where a lot of the issues kind of come into play. Not necessarily, you know, you may not try and do it intentionally, but sometimes you don't have control over how, you know, an editor or, you know, Soup or whatever, like, use your music once it's broken down into these individual elements. I felt like that was a lot. My mouth is dry. So hopefully that makes sense. Shar Moore, is mastering a song the same for TV and film, just like popular trap or hip hop or pop that is out today? Can a native master plugin in your DAW be good enough? Yeah, dude. Man, for years I was using the Logic stock mastering plugin. I was using like a Logic mastering template to master all my stuff. My first placement was mastered like that. So yeah, you can absolutely do it. It's the same, like, it's just it's the same thing, right? It's whether it's for an artist, whatever, like mixing and mastering is mixing and mastering. Like there's no different standard of mixing and mastering. Like you want your stuff to sound just like it would sound if you was producing for an artist. None of that changes. The main thing that really changes, especially for like instrumental cues, is the structure and how it's formatted. And that's just optimizing it for, you know, to increase your chances of it getting placed. And that's what I talk about in my how to structure instrumentals for TV video course. It's showing you exactly how I structure music so I can optimize it for TV and stuff. The music supervisors welcome the elevator pitch email. I really want to reach out to them directly, but I don't want it to be weird. I feel you. How is it better to go through the libraries? So this is what you got to keep in mind. Music supervisors are super ultra busy people, and they're humans just like you and I, right? So just approach them like another human that's just super busy. So keep it short, sweet, and to the point. They don't want like a life story. Like sometimes I get, I'm not even a music supervisor. Sometimes I get emails like legit life stories, and I'm just like, nope, that's not what I asked for. No life stories. A few sentences. Hey, my name is the beat technician, reaching out to see if you're accepting new submissions. That's a basic introduction. If you are, let me know. I would love to send you a streaming link. I've heard some music supervisors prefer you just include the streaming link right away. I like to ask for permission, but then I think this goes back to doing research and knowing who you're reaching out to and how they like things. A pro tip is if you can find something that you can connect with them on a personal level, mention something that you have to do a little bit of research to find out. That could go a long way as well, so your emails can stand out. Or if you're sending something, you can put, man, I'm giving y'all all the secrets, man. Or like in the email subject, you can put, like, if you're gonna send a link, a streaming link, no MP3 attachments, in the title you can put like hip hop R&B songs a la, and then like whatever major artist it sounds like. Sometimes because they'll be able to immediately know, like if they have a need for something like that, or like hip hop tension cues. you know, you can get their attention really quick. And if it's something they're looking for, they're like, oh shoot, that's exactly what I need. That's a pro tip. Don't tell nobody I told y'all that. But yeah. Let me see. What's up, Ken? I have Disco as well. I'm always compelled to remove access to the playlist link if I see that they've listened but have not reached out within a few weeks. Is this okay? No, like I would leave it. Cause if you take away access, you could miss an opportunity. So I'll tell you about something that happened that turned into a placement. So I reached out to a music suit, sent them some music, had a good convo. At the time he was working on a specific project. He was like, yo, I think this would work for what I'm working on right now. So I was like, cool. But I didn't hear anything back, right? And so like some months go by. I didn't hear anything. So I'm just like, you know, I think did I follow up with more music? I can't remember if I followed up with more music before he reached out again or after. But anyways, a few months go by and then they reached out, but it wasn't like just some random reach out. It was like a license request reach out for one of the songs that I sent in a playlist from months ago. So if I would have like, you know, if I would have took that access to that link down, you know, he probably was working on the new project. It was like, yo, like I remember a dude sent me this, blah, blah, blah. Let me go back and check and see if that'll work. And then he probably went back. But if I would have took that away, the link would have been dead. He was like, I don't have time. On to the next. You know what I mean? Because they're getting slammed with music. They got people they trust and know already. So you don't want to do that. So yeah, I would just keep it up because they may circle back around. And then if you don't hear back in a couple months, follow up with some more music. Let them know you still working. I found many amazing free and cheap virtual synths online. They have tons of awesome presets, complete banks with sequences, movements. No real need for Splice, as I can tell. Yeah, I mean it's you know, I know a lot of producers use it. I say like if you need it, like if you're using it for inspiration and building around, like use the loop, build your track, and then take the loop out, and then send the track without the loop. If you need it, like me, I think I might have used. I went in there and saved a few that I thought was dope, but because I work in TV and film so much, like I just don't. I like to try and make my life as easy as possible. So I'm a musician too, so I just place. It's easier for me to just play something real quick, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like for those who use samples or who sample, take the loops and then sample and create original things. I think it's an art, man. Like it's dope. I suck at it personally, but yeah, man. Like in the sync world, just try and make people's life easy, man, and you'll make your own life easier. Off key, how did you get a music supervisor to begin sending you briefs directly? So I really only had like one or like a couple, but that was that was a funny story. Do we have time? Man, it's a little bit over. So, all right. So I'm gonna tell you all this story, and then I'm gonna probably have to wrap it up because I'm gonna mess around and not get anything done today. But this is what happened. This is a good story. So, where is that? Okay, so years ago, I was out in New York. We were working on Tamar Braxton's Christmas album. So during that time, it was like a week where they blocked the studio out. We was just in there for a whole week. So it was me, it was another producer, it was a couple producers, and then some songwriters and things like that. So we all in there just knocking stuff out. So I actually ended up, just networking with one of the managers that was in there, and we were cool. Like, we were locked in the studio for a week. So naturally you're going to talk, right? But like in those situations, going back to just like work ethic and representing yourself in the best way possible and doing the work, man, like, like it was cool. Like we stayed in touch, and then, occasionally there would be a question about music licensing or whatever. So I would share some information through text or through Twitter or whatever. Just kind of stayed in touch. So like one day, my guy hit me up. He's just like, yo, he's like, do you have like contact information for this specific supervisor? And I was just like, no, I don't. I was like, but if I come across something, I'll let you know. So he's like, cool. So then some time passes. Like later in the day, he hits me back. He was like, bruh, you know what? I was just like, what? He was like, I just found it in my phone. Like, he was just like, I forgot that he had actually licensed some music that we did on some stuff like a couple years ago. Not just completely forgot. So then he shot me the information. So I was like, oh, bet. Like, yo, like, that's love, bro. Like, I appreciate that. So I used the information. Like, I'm not about to take information and not use it. Y'all know, like, I'm an action taker. I tell other people to take action. I can't tell y'all to take action. I don't take action. So I took action and reached out after doing my research. I already knew who the guy was, because the funny thing is that same week I was watching an interview about the music Soup. So I was kind of doing research and studying his stuff anyway. And then at that around that time, I was in the works of just partnering up with some friends of mine, doing some other stuff. So like all of this stuff like made sense, and I was like, oh shoot, like I'm gonna connect this, boom, that's gonna be perfect. So then I reached out to him, and then he hit me right back like immediately, which I was surprised. Like for a music Soup, I was like, whoa, bro, like I thought y'all supposed to be busy. But he reached out immediately, and it was a wrap. Later on, that joint turned into a Netflix placement. So it's just like, yo, I guess it goes back to relationships, and then it goes back to, just, you never know where the opportunity will come from. You don't and you don't know who's in the room as well, right? You just don't know. So like in every situation you're in, like, I don't, like, if you're in the studio, if you're at home, you're on the phone, you're working on a group, like, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever you do, like, put your best into it, and like, just do your best. Be respectful, don't be a jerk, be like easy to work with, follow instructions. Like, I'm telling you, like, if you follow instructions, you do these things, you will knock out like 75% of your competition just by following instructions and being a dope person. So yeah, that's how that happened, man. It's just relationships, man, and just showing up, doing the work, and being consistent. So yeah, so I gotta bounce, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. If you guys need a discount code, the joint is definitely in the description, to grab whatever you need, whether it's the Roll to 10 Placements joint, the how to structure instrumentals for TV, all of that stuff is in there, man, to help you guys. So I appreciate y'all coming through. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you know exactly when the new videos is gonna drop. And tomorrow, I'm gonna tell y'all, like right off rip, tomorrow I'm launching a giveaway. So that video drops tomorrow, but you gotta watch the video to figure out how to enter into the giveaway. So yeah, I'm out. I'm about to get back to work. Y'all have a good rest of the week. Stay productive, and yeah, go crush it.